First of all, I would like to thank Onco Critical Care Conference two organizers, especially Dr. Parveen, who is very good friend of mine. We were batchmates during our MBBS. So I think next session is very important. If we ask any critical care physician, managing ARDS can be very, very challenging. I think this is one condition where every physician will feel always limited. So this is one disease where lots of precision is required, and I think there is Dr. Sudha Kansal, who is expert in this field, and we are hoping that after finishing this talk, we will be more wiser regarding various precision and maybe some kind of biomarkers or some kind of clinical feature which can be used during the management of this challenging condition, ARDS. So we welcome Dr. Sudha Kansal, who is senior consultant at Indraprasth Apollo Hospital. Her area of interest includes sepsis, ventilation, acid-base disturbances, and she has multiple publications to his credit. Welcome to Dr. Sudha. Over to you.
Good morning, respected chairpersons, dear friends. At the outset, I'd like to thank Dr. Praveen and Dr. Saurabh for pioneering this conference. It was never existing throughout the India, but they have been pioneer in doing this. As we know, the number of cancers are really increasing, so it's the need of the hour. So I'm going to talk on probability, precision, and future of critical care trial in ARDS. First of all, we have to know that ARDS is a syndrome, it's not a disease. And as per the data, a large population of 50 countries reported ARDS is poorly recognized in 40% of the patients. And now ARDS is recognized as a heterogeneous syndrome. It's a syndrome plus it's a heterogeneous syndrome with direct and indirect causes, and it presents with wide range of clinical and pathological characteristics. So as we are aware, ARDS is characterized by diffuse alveolar damage, inflammation, and edema. It causes acute respiratory failure with impaired gas exchange and oxygenation. Global awareness of ARDS is increasing. It is shown to be associated with high mortality, and the mortality is not changed in last couple of decades. So focus is now to identify treatable trait by using precision medicine. This is the pathology all of you know. So if you go back to the definition, the first definition was given in 1967. After that, American European Conference criteria of ARDS in 1994 and Berlin definition, which we are still using. But recently in January 2024, there is a definition which is given as a new definition published in AJRCCM, where when you compare it to the Berlin definition, the onset is same, bilateral opacities on chest X's have to be there, and there has to be a clinical reason. But now they identified that in resource limited country, they may not have access to ABG that often, and sometimes even CT scan may not be there. So they have come up with a new criteria which says that if you do not have a ABG, if SpO2, FiO2 is less than 315 and your patient's SpO2 is less than 97, you do not need to look at PaO2 FiO2 ratio to define it as ARDS. Another criteria they have said that if you do not have a CT scan, you can use ultrasound to identify these patients. This is very useful in resource limited settings. So this is a new definition which is known as the new global definition of ARDS published in AJRCCM in 2021. First of all, we have to know the cause of ARDS before we tailor our therapy. Because treatment of ARDS is treat the cause, and the other supportive therapy is to improve the outcome. So it can be infective, non-infective, infective primary from the lung or from systemic infection, and also non-infective like pancreatitis, transfusion, burn, trauma, drug overdose, drowning, etc. So it's very important that you first identify the etiology of ARDS. This was the final flow chart which we were using till few years back. You look at the PF ratio and customize your therapy up to that. As per Berlin definition, more than 200 to 300 is a mild ARDS, 200 to 100 is moderate, and less than 100 is severe. So just looking at this, you are giving various therapy. Like less than 2, if the PF ratio is more than 200, you can continue with NIV or HFOV. Low tidal volume should be used across the table. Conservative fluid management, these are all the trials which have supported the use. However, if the PF ratio goes less than 200, you must intubate your patient. And there's a role of dexamethasone if the ratio is less than 150, prone positioning, and less than 80 ECMO. This was the standard therapy which was used. But now, with after identify the phenotyping and use of precision therapy, they have looked at the trial which failed. How can we use that to improve outcome in our patients? So, because I told you there was no significant change in mortality, a search for targeted treatment for ARDS has been planned, and this requires understanding and application of precision medicine. Now, what is precision medicine? This is for my junior colleagues. This is defined as a treatment targeted to the need of individual patient on the basis of genetic, biomarker, phenotypic, and psychosocial characteristic that differentiate one given patient from other with similar clinical presentation. So they are all presenting as ARDS, but then you relook them, you categorize them into subgroup and try to know what therapy can be given to a particular patient which will benefit and what should not be given because it can cause harm to the patient. So current evidence for heterogeneity explore the evidence in favor of precision medicine and provides a roadmap for further research in ARDS. Now, if you look at 2014 paper published in Lancet, they identified ARDS subphenotype and they looked for its proof and its impact. So they took clinical and biochemical data from ARMA and alveoli, two landmark trial, and they analyzed that. And they did a latent class analysis to identify subphenotype based on these data. And also they looked at association of phenotype with clinical outcome. So they identified two phenotypes, hypo or normal inflammatory and hyperinflammatory. The type 1 phenotype had low or normal inflammatory markers. There was no acidosis and no shock. Type 2 was hyperinflammatory phenotype, which had elevated biomarkers. They had shock, they had acidosis, and in this group, sepsis were more common. And if you look at the outcome, both the trials, the mortality benefit in phenotype 1, 2, phenotype 1 and 2, it showed that phenotype 2 was associated with higher mortality. It also had less ventilator-free day and organ failure. So first of all, you have to identify your patient, what phenotype it belongs to, and then how you use this phenotypic to treatment I'll tell you in the subsequent slides. Also, the use of PEEP was more useful in hyperinflammatory phenotype. It was not useful in hypoinflammatory or normoinflammatory phenotype. Now, fluid therapy, we're just talking about fluid trial. FACT trial was a landmark trial in ARDS. Now, here again, they looked at use of liberal versus conservative fluid therapy in type 1 and type 2 phenotype of ARDS. And they showed that if you give a conservative fluid therapy, the outcome was better in phenotype 2. However, in phenotype 1, that was a non-hyperinflammatory, conservative fluid therapy was advised. So this is how you have to phenotype your patient and use therapy trying to improve the outcome. So what is the clinical relevance of subphenotyping? The various subgroups exist within this broad entity of ARDS. They respond differently to various management strategy. I showed you about the PEEP, open lung ventilation, fluid, and identification of this subgroup can help in better tailoring of treatment, which is the precision medicine need of the hour. And this has led to improved outcome. Now, there's another paper published in Critical Care, Current Opinion Critical Care 2019, which again said that there's no typical ARDS, and you can divide them into 3 domains: etiological based, physiological based, and biological based, and identify the phenotype so that you can plan therapy accordingly. So this is the group of ARDS. You divide them into etiological, physiological, and biological basis. Etiological you get from the history and microbiology. So what is the cause of ARDS? Whether there's anything which has further worsened it, and how is it behaving? Then depending upon physiology, which you get from imaging and physiological parameter, imaging basically whether it's a focal ARDS or a generalized ARDS, what is the degree of hypoxemia, what are the mechanics, the compliance of the lung, you can divide them into various domains. And last but not the least, depending upon the biomarkers, that is biology, biomarker for inflammation, for endothelial damage, for epithelial damage, angiopathy, etc. And then you look at the patient after you have divided each patient into it, you see what is the etiology. That depending upon etiology, you decide about steroid, antimicrobial, antifibrotic, or withholding some toxic drug. Depending upon the physiology, you decide what should be the PEEP, should you use recruitment maneuver, should you use prone, and the degree of sedation and analgesia. And depending upon the biomarkers, you decide about use of biomodulation. This is a very beautiful paper published in CHEST 2021, which uses precision medicine and heterogeneity of treatment effect in therapy for ARDS. This has beautifully summed up all the available papers till that date. It goes without saying that the ARCHNet trial criteria of low tidal volume should be used across all the ARDS patients. This is a little busy slide, but a very, very important slide giving you the gist of all the trials. So see, lung protective ventilation should be used across the table. Now let's look at what is the role of open lung ventilation. LULI said there's no difference in mortality. Express trial also, LOS trial also said no difference in mortality. ART trial said that there was higher 28-day mortality with open lung. Now they reanalyzed all this data and they came up with the inference that open lung ventilation is associated with lower mortality if the PF ratio is less than or equal to 200. Those who improved, the PF ratio improved with PEEP, PF ratio improved with PF, increasing PEEP, reduced the lower driving pressure or hyperinflammatory phenotype. However, open lung ventilation was associated with higher mortality in patients with pneumonia who required vasopressor. Now, HFOV, high frequency oscillatory ventilator, mainly two trial, Oscillate trial, which was a negative trial, and Oscar trial said that there's no difference in mortality. When they analyzed it, they found that HFOV was associated with lower mortality in patients with PF ratio less than 100 and more so if the PF ratio was less than 64. Prone positioning came with a big bang and it said that it lowers 28-day mortality with prone position, the ProSeva, famous ProSeva trial. However, subsequently it was shown that the mortality benefit was for those patients who had PF ratio less than 150. What is the role of neuromuscular blocking agent? Accurus trial said that it lowered the mortality. However, Rose trial said there's no difference in mortality. So subsequently on analysis, they conferred that if the PF ratio was 150, less than 150, neuromuscular blocking agent given in initial 24 to 48 hours have shown to improve the mortality. What is the role of fluid therapy? The FACT trial said there's no difference in mortality. However, when you look at the various phenotype, it was found out that those who had hyperinflammatory phenotype should be given conservative fluid therapy, whereas those who had type 1 phenotype can be given liberal fluid therapy. Statin is the last thing, there was so many studies, especially in COVID days also, and ultimately they said there's no advantage of it. But again, on reanalyzing the set of patients, it was shown that simvastatin was associated with lower mortality in hyperinflammatory phenotype, those with lower Apache 2, and also if the PF ratio was less than 100. However, it was associated with higher mortality if the Apache 2 score was high. No difference was found with rosuvastatin. So now when we customize our therapy, all patients of ARDS by using precision medicine. Sorry. So when we use precision medicine to customize therapy for our patients, all the patients with ARDS should be on lung protective ventilation. Then you look at PF ratio. If PF ratio is more than 200, you can continue with either NIV or oxygen therapy. But if it is low, then you have to consider open lung ventilation, prone positioning, neuromuscular blocking agent, high frequency oscillatory ventilation, and statins, especially in sepsis related ARDS. Then next is you look at the cause of ARDS. If it is pneumonia requiring vasopressor, avoid high PEEP and recruitment maneuver. If the PF ratio improves after giving higher PEEP, then you increase the PEEP and you ventilate with that. Also look at the driving pressure. If by increasing the PEEP, the driving pressure becomes low, then these patients should be given open lung ventilation. And last but not the least is inflammatory subphenotype, hypoinflammatory and hyperinflammatory. For hypoinflammatory, you avoid high PEEP and you give liberal fluid therapy. Whereas for hyperinflammatory phenotype, you use open lung ventilation, simvastatin, and avoid liberal fluid strategy. Role of NIV, NIV has become so popular these days in ICU that a patient comes with ARDS, we keep pulling patient on NIV support, but do not do early intubation in your patient if the PF ratio is less than 200, because studies have shown that it increases mortality if you delay intubation in this patient. If the PF ratio is more than 200, you may try NIV or HFOV. This was a very personalized ventilation, the live study in the patients with ARDS who had moderate to severe ARDS. About 400 patients were included. 200 received controlled ventilation and 196 they required personalized ventilation depending upon whether it was a focal ARDS or a diffuse ARDS. In focal ARDS, they used low PEEP. In diffuse ARDS, they used recruitment maneuver and high PEEP. And they looked at 90-day mortality. So if you look at across the table, there's no difference in mortality. The pink is a control group and the green is a personalized group, no difference in mortality. But they went on and reanalyzed their data and they found that patients in whom the study group, about 20% of the patients were misclassified into diffuse and focal, and these patients had very high mortality. So when you chose your patient properly, this is the control group and this is a personalized group. Personalized group had significantly improved mortality. So you have to personalize. There's no ready answer. You get up in the night and you say do this. No, you have to personalize ARDS therapy to your patients. Then what is the role of steroid? If the PF ratio is less than 200, again steroids, Decadron, there's a study with Decadron which has shown that it reduces mortality and also decreases ventilator free day. And when you're worried about the side effect, there was no major statistically significant side effect with the use of steroid. But it has to be used early. If you use it late, after 2 weeks, it is shown to increase the mortality. So again, you have to look at your patient characteristic, use precision medicine, and use steroids. Then this is a famous stimvastatin trial published in Lancet Respiratory Medicine. They had two groups. First, they divided into hypoinflammatory and hyperinflammatory ARDS. And each group had two divisions. In one was a control group, other one they used simvastatin. And they showed these first two are in the hypoinflammatory group. There was no significant difference in the mortality. However, if you look at hyperinflammatory serotype, this is with the simvastatin and this is with the control group, there was a significant improvement in mortality if it was used in hyperinflammatory group. So we all know that ARDS has got limited therapy. It's a broad clinical syndrome characterized by impaired gas exchange and reduced lung compliance. So because they are very limited therapy, you have to look at the heterogeneity and use precision medicine depending upon degree of hypoxemia, underlying cause, radiological pattern, and the inflammatory response. And after identify this subphenotype, use precision medicine, customize your therapy that will help to improve the mortality. But of course, this is initial days. You need more clinical trial to prove this. Future trials should address how do you identify these phenotypes. When you do a study, you use at least 7-8 inflammatory markers, which are not practical. So maybe we need some more phenotyping criterias. Also, how to differentiate hyper and hypoinflammatory and what parameters, what biomarkers should be used for that. And does the trajectory of subphenotype alter with treatment? a broader approach. Initially, you should include all the patients of ARDS and then go and do a subgroup analysis and then apply precision medicine. So you need a large trial on that. How do statin fare in ARDS, and role of precision medicine in trial design regarding how adaptive trial in acute critical illness can balance efficacy and benefit to the participant. What is need of the hour. So to conclude, number of therapy available for ARDS remain limited. Identification of ARDS phenotype has given a ray of hope, and identification of this phenotype and directing therapy towards them, that is precision medicine, is the need of the hour. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful talk. Any questions from the audience? We can take one or two. Any comments? I also agree with ma'am that the mortality hasn't decreased much, so that we have to be personalized and precision care. Ma'am, do you think any other anti-inflammatories can be tried in studies? Because
Yeah, as of now, steroid and statins. These are the only two things which are available. Earlier, they had tried ibuprofen and all long back,
sometimes,
but that was a negative trial. So yeah, like.
I mean, if we can
you
identify
know,
the subgroups and then we can
yes,
try.
yes, yes.
insert
Like we
alternate
used for COVID, we did use, forgetting the name, the anti-inflammatory when the IL-6 was very high,
Tocilizumab, I think.
tocilizumab and all that. But many a large proportion of these patients have sepsis, bacterial sepsis. So maybe it cannot be extrapolated to that. Even when we are using it for COVID, we were fairly clinically and by parameters ruling out a bacterial infection. So
You can try less dangerous anti-inflammatories.
yeah, I think
Which
that is
we
the
will
need
stress
of the
less,
hour,
yeah.
because hyperinflammatory ARDS just respond to anti-inflammatory.
Thank you, ma'am. Any comments, sir?
No, I think it was a wonderful description of heterogeneity of ARDS and how we can take little clues from different parameters. I think more is required to get a little bit more into precision medicine as far as ARDS is concerned. But till now, I don't think there is clinically applicable biomarkers or any factor which can be taken into consideration directly. But indirectly, once you are beside the patient, you can see which therapy is responding, which is harming. For example, recruitment maneuver. If by and large it is not recommended, but if you have done and somebody is responding, in that case probably you can use. So this is one example. Similarly, there may be many more. So I think it was a wonderful talk, and with the permission of my co-chair, I announce this session closed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.